Live from the phone. There we go. All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. I'm gonna hold this up. All right. All right, my brother. We will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. What's up, good people? What's up? What's up? This is the Trainer podcast. We are back with another episode. I am your co-host, Jamal Richardson at JMR Basketball. And to my left,
It's me. It's me.
where you at right now? In the gym?
I'm in the gym, man. Trainer in the gym.
Wow. Okay. You lifting or something? Like you finna
No,
get
I'm not lifting, bro. Just got done
I,
training, bro. I ain't
I see
lifting
that.
nothing, bro.
See,
Calm
see the
down, bro.
see the bench press back
Calm
there, man.
down, bro.
Little chest press machine. You know what I'm saying?
You see the pegs?
Whoa. You've been working. I give you that. You've been working. But hey, well, we back. Glad to be back, man. Another special episode, man. So today, man, this is the playoff edition episode, and also we're going to touch on the Ja Morant situation. But
Let's just jump right into Ja. Let's not even talk about the playoffs yet. Like, he
wait,
ruined the playoffs today.
Wait.
No, he ruined Game 7 today.
Time out. Before we do that,
Okay.
today is Mother's Day, so we want to send a special shout out to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day! Thank y'all for what y'all do, for taking good care of us men. You know what I mean? We would not be here without you. So happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there, and for those mothers out. You got something for moms?
Hey man, y'all are the backbone of the family. Whether all men know it or not, women are the backbone of the family. Let's just be real.
Absolutely, no question about it. Now we can jump straight into the Ja Morant situation, because we talked about this. I called you earlier. We talked early today about it. I'm gonna let you have the floor, bro. You go ahead and shoot. Shot clock on you. Bam.
Damn, man. I don't like bashing people. Like, let me start there first. I don't like bashing people.
For sure.
So I'm gonna try to keep it just on the situation. Let me start by saying I don't think Ja Morant's a bad person. Let's start there. I'm not gonna say that, but I think he's making a lot of bad decisions. I feel like he's giving athletes, particularly black athletes, a bad name right now. As a black man, it's already hard enough at times with the stereotypes that we get placed on us. To fall into those stereotypes just make it so much worse. I think that's why so many people get upset about the situation on TV, from Stephen A. to Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose, et cetera, Shannon Sharp, because of the stigma that comes with being a black athlete already. And we're just, you know what I'm saying, Ma. It's just
for sure.
So I hate that. That's the first thing. Secondly, I told you earlier, he's going to have to get suspended. Like, it's a no-brainer at this point. He's going to get suspended. Definitely. He's going to have to figure out his whole PR team and figure out what they're going to do to fix his image, because it's tarnished right now. Like I told you earlier as well, Nike has to keep the same energy they kept with Kyrie, because this is twice.
Absolutely.
Nike has to keep the same energy that they had with Kyrie. I know they just released his shoe, and I know they were banking on him to do big things with the shoe. But I honestly believe that it's gonna have to be some type of repercussions with all of that, because I listened to Wilbon. Wilbon told his son, like, I'm not buying his shoe because of what Ja is representing right now. I'm not buying you that shoe. So he can't be the only father to feel that way in this world. Mm-hmm. So Nike's going to have to make a decision. That's another thing. Next, I hear people on the internet blaming his friend. I'm not going to blame his friend. Ja's a grown man. Ja knew his friend was live. Ja picked the gun up and showed it. His friend panicked and was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Dropped the phone if you watched the whole video. Got shit together, then picked the phone back up, and he had a gun in his hand no more. So I'm not going to blame his friend. This is all on Ja in this instant. I don't care what anybody says. It's all on him. He's going to have to figure out how to fix his brand. He's going to have to become a hermit this summer.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have to go to the gym and home and gym. There is no, we're outside every weekend this summer. Like, you can't be that. Like, that's just not gonna happen anymore. Like, I
Yeah.
don't I don't know who's in his I don't know who's in his circle that he can talk to about any of this. Like, I don't think you would think it would be his father, but I feel like his father's trying to be on the same wave with the way he moves, with the way his father moves.
Mm-hmm.
So who is like in Ja's ear, like, sit your ass down, bro? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, get it together, my guy. Like, you're ruining your career. You're fumbling the bag. Like I told my boy on the phone earlier, if fumbling the bag was a person, it's Ja right now. And you got a slap on the wrist the first time.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Silver ain't slapping him on the wrist this time, bro. I'm not buying that. And the Grizzlies tried to get ahead of it with the whole, we're suspending him from team activities. Ain't no team activities right now. Y'all not playing. There's nothing going on. Everybody's on vacation. So I don't feel bad for him.
Nope.
At all. Let me start there. Two, you need to, I hate saying this, but you just need to be quiet and hoop right now. Just be quiet and hoop, bro. Just do your job. And this is the last thing I want to say that I'm going to let you speak, my brother. I had a conversation with a friend earlier also, and it's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's true. I believe Ja is a guy that loves basketball for what it brings. I don't necessarily believe in my mind right now because of his actions that he loves basketball just for the purity of the sport. I think he loves it because of what it provides for him financially and the fame and the access it gives you when you get to that certain level. I don't view him as a person that's just like, I really love this shit. Like, I look at KD and I can tell like KD loves basketball.
Yeah.
I look at LeBron and he has a million off-court things, but you can tell he loves basketball.
For sure.
So I just don't get that vibe when I look at Ja making these same mistakes. And it ain't just the gun stuff. It's just, think about all the cases he has right now.
Yep.
And lawsuits. Like, think about all that. That's crazy. So that's just my view on it.
I think, man, you you pretty much touched on the same sentiments I have. One thing about life that we both know, man, experience it, experience is a teacher, but it's not always the best teacher. And we don't, at times, we shouldn't allow experience to teach us what we should already know, or what or could be in a situation where we could prevent ourselves from having to learn through those type of experiences. Um, the one thing I just kept thinking about today, man, is self-control. Self-control. Ja's in a place right now, he has no self-control. I don't think he has control of himself in regards of who he is. I don't think he has control of the matter and the situation around him. And you got to realize too, Sean, I think you made a great point when we've talked earlier. At 23 years old, you're the breadwinner. You are a multimillionaire, and you're pretty much running the show. You're pretty much calling the shots because everyone is to some degree dependent on you. You know what I mean? And so I think with him, in essence, being the leader of his pack, the leader of his circle, because of his financial gain, because of his financial grounding, well, you still got to have people, you know, you still got to have people that are going to, tell you the truth. There's going to be the OG like they're supposed to, like, Pops, for instance, like Pops, you got to, you know what I'm saying? No, we're not telling you how to raise your son, but I mean, it's apparent, man, like Ja has not done what he's needed to do in order to grow, especially after having this incident happen before. You know what I'm saying? And so at 23 years old, when you got that kind of money and you are able to call the shots and everybody's pretty much just falling in line with what you want to do. And you got to have people that's going to be like, no, hey, man, we're not doing this. You don't need to do this. You need to go a different direction. You need to lay low like you talked about. Um, he needs to be a hermit, man. Get your butt in the gym this summer. Like, don't don't go out. Don't need to be seen. You don't need to be present. Like, you need to fully focus on bettering your craft, but more importantly, bettering yourself as an individual, bettering yourself as a father, bettering yourself as as Ja Morant. You know what I mean? And I was upset when I got, when I heard the initial, with the initial news when it broke out. I was upset. Like, I was upset. I was upset as if Ja was in our circle. You know what I'm saying? He in my circle. He in your circle. Like, because let's just call it what it is, man. Especially as a black athlete, you don't get, what I'm saying? You don't get the same leeway. You don't get the
Facts.
same privileges. Of, and I saw like a lot of racial comparisons, with the senator, and they posting their guns and said, I'm gonna be quite frank, like it's completely different because they can do that. The senator that posted those guns with his family, he can do that. You know why? Because he has the privilege to do that. Like, Ja, you don't get the privilege to. You get the privilege to play a great game because you're blessed and talented, but you're still black. You're still a black athlete, so you don't get the same. You don't get the same. Slap on the wrist. You don't get the same leeway. You know what I mean? So, in retrospect, I remember Charles Barkley saying, "Well, I'm not a role model," and so on and so forth. Well, I hate to say it, but in this context, with you being an athlete and you being gifted with the ability to play this game, and the fact that like millions of people follow you, they support you, they look up to you. In hindsight, in retrospect, you are a role model. You
Facts.
do have to. There is a responsibility that comes with you doing what you do on the court. And because you're so talented and gifted, like, people are going to be enamored by your talent. So you do have a responsibility in how you present yourself. And I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect. We're not saying that you have to be, buttoned up and, be yourself. But at the same token, man, like, I heard somebody say this, like, man, listen, athletes own guns. Let's just call that what it is. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Athletes own guns. So it's not saying that you don't need to own a gun. Like, you can't have a gun. But the problem is like, when you're brandishing the gun and you flashing it, and you got to understand, man, like, there's a lot that comes with that. And especially when you're talking about dealing with the shield of the NBA. The NBA, you're not going to represent the NBA in that light whatsoever. They're going to do whatever they need to do to protect the branding of the NBA, which
I,
is, go ahead.
I I think he forgets that he's an employee.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that. Like, you are employed. You are hired to
Yeah.
perform and do a job. And then you also have to make sure you are representing your employer in a way that is not going to be a negative light on what they are trying to sell
At all times, though.
at all times.
At
So
all times.
there is no days off from your branding. There is no days off on how you represent yourself. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in that ability, you got that talent, and you're in that upper echelon, like, things just work a little different for you than it would for me or for you or for the average person. You know what I'm saying? Working 9 to 5. I hate to say it, but it is what it is, and that's what comes with the reward of being able to be an athlete or being able to be a NBA basketball player. So, and then my last little 2 bits on it is everything Ja, from the first incident, and then you going to rehab, was fluff,
The
complete fluff.
rehab is a joke. Come on,
Yeah, that
man.
was a joke.
The rehab was a joke.
So so obviously, by you going out here and doing what you just did, that was just simply PR. That was simply just, okay. Hey, listen, I'm gonna play the role. Hey, I'm gonna do better, and so on and so forth. Yada yada yada. And then now I feel like you may have got ahead of yourself and feeling like you're still above what you think you're not. And me personally, if I was Adam Silver, and this is just me, if I'm Adam Silver, I would suspend Ja for a year. And the only reason why I'm
Woo.
suspend him for a year, and the only reason why I'm gonna suspend him for a year, because one, I'm gonna set the tone. I'm a, especially since this is not your first offense,
Mm.
right? And I'm looking at it from a standpoint like this is beyond basketball. Let's take the money out. Let's take the marketing. Let's look at how things are starting to be a trend in your life. The people, the situations, like you mentioned earlier, Sean, the situations that you've been caught up in. This is really starting to become a behavioral pattern. And
Mm.
so if I'm continuing to see you involved with this situation, in this situation, in this situation, in this situation, hey, look, man, you know what? You gonna go, you want to go to quote unquote rehab. I tell you what, we gonna rehab them pockets. So we're gonna take away something that you quote unquote love to do, and that's gonna make you reevaluate how you really feel about basketball. But more importantly, I want you to reevaluate who you really are. So not only are you going to be suspended for a full year, but you're going to go through a extensive rehab program while you are suspended.
Mm.
Period. Because it's obvious and it's apparent that you have not learned from your mistake.
Mm.
I'm a fan of Ja. Love Ja.
Love 12.
Love it. Love. He's a very intelligent basketball player. He's got a lot of charisma, a lot God given talent, great ability. I mean, just everything's in his corner. But it's apparent, man. Like experience is going to really have to. He's got to be humble. Experience is really going to have to teach him. You know what I'm saying? And this is for for me, you, Sean, as us as trainers and coaches, and this is for all our young athletes. Like, if there's anything to take away from this, it's don't think that you are bigger or that you are beyond anything to where you cannot be humble.
Mm.
Period. You know what I'm saying? So I hope Ja figures it out, but he don't get a pass from me. I'm with you. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't feel bad for him. If you want to portray that, be prepared with everything that comes with portraying that type of life. Be prepared for the consequences that's gonna come with you wanting to be this quote unquote thug or be, you know what I'm saying, or be, you know what I'm saying, being hard. Man, you can have a gun, bro. I ain't that's not the problem. The problem ain't having a gun. The problem is like
Mm-hmm.
you're inviting that type of energy by you
Mm-hmm.
putting it out there. If I'm on the gram and I'm flashing guns and flashing money and this and that and I'm yada yada yada, like okay, at some point in time you gotta realize, man, it's somebody out there that's gonna be ready to check you on that. And let's see
Yeah.
if you really gonna be about that.
Yeah.
Because let's not even let it get to that point because that's just not who you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's unfortunate and it's a responsibility on him as a black athlete, man. Like you gotta understand, man, like this is what you have to avoid and this is what you have to be able to walk away from and put yourself in a better position. And if not, don't be surprised if we see him out the league. Truth of the matter. If it keep go
Um,
out the league.
I don't think he's gonna get suspended the whole season. At first, I thought so when I thought about it, but I know people are calling for that. I've seen Stephen A. call for it. I think it's gonna be somewhere between 30 to 40 games, something like
I
that.
agree. I
That's what I
agree.
think it's gonna end up being. Because he's the face of the league. He's a face of the league. So I can't see them suspending a face of the league for a whole season. So I
Yeah.
see 30 to 40 games, something like that. I think, I watch a lot of pods, and I think I heard Gilbert Arenas say something that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenyon Martin and those guys agreed with him. It was like, you need to stay low, like I said, all summer, be a hermit. Just go to the gym, go to your sister's games, whatever. But Gilbert Arenas was like, the day before media day, he needs to cut his hair off and just come with a whole new image. And I was like, wait, what? He was like, he should cut his hair off and come with a whole new image.
Makes a lot of
And
sense.
And when I started thinking about it, because at first my first reaction was like, hell no, like that's doing too much. Like, no. But in reality, it's no different than Kobe changing his number from 8 to 24 when he went through his situation. It's no different than that.
Yep.
So he's going to have to do something. I don't know. I'm going to pray for him because I want to see him win. I love watching him play.
Absolutely.
I wish nothing but the best for him. But this is some dumb shit.
Dumb.
This is some dumb shit, man. I don't care what nobody tells me. This is some dumb shit.
Absolutely. And one more thing, and I'm glad you did mention the friend situation. About, I know a lot of people, well, I seen like Juan Toscano Anderson, like, why you put more stuff in? I'm like, man, listen, John knew he was going live and if anything, the friend, now this is the same dude that's been in repetitive situations with Ja. You know what I'm saying? So that's something he's got to evaluate. Like, Ja got to evaluate if he's really gonna do that. But even the friend, from the point, like, tried to hide. You know what I'm saying? Tried to, boom. Oh man, he didn't even know he had the gun. Like, flashed the gun and then tried to put the phone down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? To hide the phone. Man, how many, we've seen Ja go live on countless of occasions. Let's just call it what it is, man. Look, this generation, they love to go live. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, that's just what it is. So let's not kind of take the responsibility a little bit off of Ja. Not saying full responsibility, but don't take it off of Ja and say, well, the friend shouldn't have been going live anyway, yada yada. It doesn't matter. Because Ja done went live a thousand times over, and it has not brandished a gun except these last two instances within 2 months of time frame. That's another thing. So don't bring that energy to the friend. Like, that ain't on him. Like, dude didn't know Ja was gonna not have self-control and flash the gun and listen to, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
That's wild, bro. The whole situation is just wild.
Weak sauce, straight weak sauce, bro. But
it is.
Good luck, Ja. Figure it out, man. Figure it out. You too talented. You too gifted to be in these situations. But if not, man, listen. Don't think don't think you cannot be replaced, bro. Don't think you cannot, man. Listen, it is, man, the NBA is a revolving door. Period.
Yeah,
that's when we both know that for sure.
Facts.
But moving on, that's off that situation.
Let's get to some good basketball.
Let's talk about these playoffs, man. So it's been some good basketball. Obviously, we saw Boston.
Real quick. Shout out to my Lakers, man. I've doubted y'all all season.
Yep.
I'm glad we're here to the conference finals. Glad.
We're gonna touch on the Lakers. They're gonna get swept. They're gonna get swept by Giannis.
They're
gonna get drafted. But I'm trolling. But we're going to talk about the losers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we got.
Let's start with your Cavs. Start with the
Cavs. I will say this. It's a good season for us. Not the way we wanted to end it. It's very apparent that we've got a lot of work to do. And in retrospect, that there are going to be some roster changes in regards of we got to fill some holes that that really exposed our lineups, exposed like our strategies, things to that degree. For one, experience in regards of, with DG, I thought he played solid. Obviously, could have played better, but all in all, I was pretty, I was pretty satisfied with how he played. Just knowing how tough he is on himself, like, he knows he wanted to take it a whole different level. And coming out of that, we both talked, like, realizing and understanding, one, he felt, Cavs felt like they were the better team, which I think they were. The Knicks just played more physical. I think they were just more aggressive. They were more just, it was more of a sense of urgency in regards of seizing a moment. And the preparation for him, for DG personally, with his first playoff experience, playing the same opponent, potentially, definitely for at least 4 times, but potentially 7 times. It's a whole different mind frame. It's a whole different mentality. It's a whole different approach. So I thought it was good for him to go through that, to go through the highs, to go through the lows. But they got to figure out shooting. I think shooting is going to be is all. I think it's been their biggest Achilles heel, even at the beginning, at the start of the season, and shooting is something that they're going to need. I think also too, finding another backup big. I thought Ja and Ev were really getting pushed around a little bit by Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein and Obi Toppin, and just as a whole, just the Cavs team as a whole, just in terms of the physicality, didn't match what New York was bringing to the table. But I think there's still room to grow. I think a lot of people, and this is Twitter, this is it. NBA Twitter just goes crazy. Like as soon as they're calling for JB's job and they let's trade Jared Allen and to me, pump the brakes. Okay, pump the brakes. I think you got a great young core forward in DG Donovan, Evan, and JA. Obviously, there's got to be room for growth. Those guys are going to be super motivated to come back in the offseason and work even harder to not put themselves in this position in regards of losing, but to get over the top and get to the next level. But calling for JB's job, I don't agree with. Let's see how he adjusts when he's got the adequate pieces. Let's see when another year of Evan Mobley develop, and let's get another a year of DG and Donovan playing cohesive basketball in the backcourt together. Again, that's just the trade happened right before the season started. Give Jay another opportunity to grow and groom into his game. So I like what Cleveland's got. I think there's going to have to be a very interesting offseason for them and some of the moves that they could potentially make. But got some work to do, though, for sure. Definitely got some work to do.
They need a wing.
Yeah.
They need a wing. No disrespect to the wings they have now, but they need a wing. They need a wing that is that can definitely stretch the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to start naming names, but they need a wing that can stretch the floor. They also need a backup stretch four.
Yes.
In my opinion, to come in at times and move Mobley to the five and have a stretch four that can stretch the floor and have three shooters around Mitchell or DG when one of them has the ball, to space the floor more. I noticed that Tibbs was just pretty much loading up on Donovan Mitchell every time he got the ball. He was loading up every time. People that don't understand loading up means, it means that the man has the ball on one wing, the man in the opposite corner is coming over to help completely. He's not even worried about the guy in the opposite corner. He's just sitting there waiting to help, not worried about him. They were just leaving a curl open in the opposite corner. So they definitely need that. And secondly, like you said, it was his first time in the playoffs, and people act like that doesn't matter. It matters. It's different. It's a different type of experience playing the playoffs. It's just different. Like you said, it's game to game adjustments. You're trying to pick up stuff on the fly. It's half to half adjustments, quarter to quarter, possession to possession. It's just different. Like you said, you're seeing the same team to a possibly 7 times, and in 7 games, it's 7 different things could happen. So, because like I tell people, a team will get blown out by 30 and still win the series. One game. So it's just different in that aspect, but they have to get some shooting, like you said. That should be the front office's number one premium in the draft, free agency, trades. They have to get some shooting to go around DG and Donovan Mitchell, because if they don't, they're gonna be in the same predicament next year.
Yeah, and to add one more thing too, I think this is in regards to the development piece what we talked about earlier. I think Evan Mobley is the piece that really does unlock a lot for them. Because as you saw in that series, playing 2 bigs that can't shoot really plays into the hands of the Knicks defense. But I think if Evan Mobley comes back this offseason and he's able to stretch the floor, again, he doesn't have to be a lights out 3-point shooter, but just an adequate 3-point shooter just to keep the defense honest. I think it unlocks even more for them. And I would expect, I would expect Evan to really lock in on that part of his game, which I know he will. But like you said, I think that along with having that wing shooter, and then Ev being able to unlock his perimeter game in terms of like pick and pop. Because if you notice, like everything he does is kind of like 15 and in. When he's like everything is it's the short roll, it's the quick, the quick floaters, the power finishes at the rim, but rarely does he pick and pop. You know what I mean? And so that's just I think. But again, he's young. It's year 2 for him. So
that's crazy.
Which is crazy, right? So
crazy.
So the upside is definitely there for the Cavs. I think just like you said, Kobe's got to do some work in regards of finding the pieces to unlock a lot of stuff for the guy. And to their pace, I think their pace was way too slow too. I think
to have a young team and play that slow.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. They're JB's a defensive minded guy, so obviously you want to control the pace and make it a half court game. But as you see, man, in the playoffs, man, like the pace has been surprisingly like it. Guys are running, they're shooting a lot of threes. Like even the teams that are not really good 3-point shooting teams are getting high volume up. You know what I mean? Because they're taking the right shots within the pace and the flow of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be important for him too. Next. So where you want to go with next? Next team, who we talking about next?
Talk about the Bucks. Let's talk about the Bucks. We're not going to ignore this. Let's talk about the Bucks.
Let's talk about the Bucks.
Let's talk about how Giannis has got to get over this mental hurdle of making free throws and shooting free throws.
Yeah,
Mr. We got to start there. But no, they definitely have to get younger. Yeah. They have to get more athletic. I know they tried to build a veteran-based team around Giannis to try to make another run. I don't understand why Jay Crowder wasn't playing. I don't know why you would sign him and give away 5 picks and not even play him in the playoffs. That just makes no sense. Mm-hmm. It was to the point where he wasn't playing. Bobby Portis wasn't getting a lot of run. I didn't understand Bud's rotation in the playoffs.
Yeah.
At all against Miami. I feel like they're going to have to move away from Chris Middleton. Not an unpopular opinion, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move away from Chris Middleton as your second star. I think they're going to have to find a younger star. If I was them, or a solidified star. If I was them, I'd be trying to do everything I can to trade to get Damian Lillard.
Ooh, I like that.
I would try to do everything I can in my possible way in the front office right now to send Chris Middleton, whatever young pieces they do have. What's the light skinned kid's name? Dang, what's his name? Boot camp, Margie, something like that. I can't remember.
Marjan Beauchamp.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Send him, Portland's young. Send him a young piece. Him, Middleton, something like. I'll figure something out, some type of package to get Dame to be with Giannis next year to make another run. Because I'm telling folks, and they think I'm just talking. Like he's not gonna leave. At this next contract's up, they're still in this same space. He's leaving.
He's going to New York.
He's not staying because he wants to win. He wants to win
for sure.
So I feel like they need to find a way to try to get Dame this offseason if they can. I don't know what kind of package they could put together. Find a way to get Dame and keep Drew Holiday and Giannis and build around that. Keep Bobby Portis and just build around it. But everybody else on that roster, in my opinion, is tradable at this point.
Pretty expendable. Pretty expendable.
They have to. I'm really curious to see who's going to get this job. I know they said they're going to interview Kenny Atkinson. He used to be the coach with the Nets, assistant with the Warriors now. I know there's a lot of other names floating around, so I'm really curious to see who they're going to hire. I think that's going to play a part too. They have to get younger and more athletic. That's just the biggest thing. They have to, because they're an old team.
Gotcha.
And they play slow too, Mom.
They do. They
play slow too. Only one really gets up down the floor is Giannis, and it's really a one-man fast break. You really think about it. It's a lot of one-man fast breaks at times with him. So they got to figure out to get younger and more athletic to match his game. You still got to have shooters, I know, to space the floor for him to have space and all that stuff. But they got to find a way to get more young and athletic. That's just my take on the Bucks.
Bucks, very interesting offseason for them. Obviously, Mike Budenholzer, let it go. I know he had to deal with a personal matter that's very tough to, handle while coaching. But let's just keep it. Let's just evaluate him from a basketball standpoint. I think he just, struggled making those adjustments. Definitely coaching against Eric Spoelstra. You you gotta come with it. You know what I'm saying, in terms of knowing what buttons to press and knowing, what to do and when to do it. You know what I mean? And so I think he struggled with that. I'm with you. I think they do need to make a splash to keep Giannis at bay. I think the team as constructed is not going to really work. Obviously, Chris Middleton is an unrestricted free agent. I believe Brook Lopez is an unrestricted free agent as well. So now you have to figure out what you're going to do with those two guys. Do you bring them back, or do you decide to go elsewhere? Do they need to get younger? I think they need to, obviously build some younger pieces around Giannis. I think you got to keep Drew Holiday into a fold. I was thinking about this. An interesting name I was going to throw out was Kyrie. I know Kyrie's a free agent, but I don't think Kyrie's going to be. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be really interested in playing in Milwaukee. But that would be a pretty unique dynamic with Drew. Being your best on ball defender. Kyrie being that. I think that second fiddle, that second star playing with a guy like Giannis. And two, I will say this: I think Kyrie, like you put Kyrie, Dame, that same category type of player, would be able to help Giannis in the aspect of being able to close, especially in situations like you said where Giannis does struggle from the free throw line, or where Giannis does struggle with shot creation late game. That's where you have the likes of a Kyrie Irving or a Damian Lillard to take that pressure off of him. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Milwaukee approaches their offseason. Like you said, with the head coaching vacancy, Monty Williams, who we're going to talk about the Suns shortly. Monty Williams obviously is going to be a hot name. Recently, just saw that I think they're going to interview Mark Jackson as well. Like you said, got Kenny Atkinson. You got a couple really really hot names out there. That's that's an attractive job. I mean, you coaching arguably the best player in the league. You know what I mean? And you got a good core, a good system there. You know what I'm saying? So, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. Giannis, let's hit that free throw line, my boy. Let's get that free throw.
Real quick though, real quick. I said this last night. I was a little inebriated, but I meant this. Motherfuckers ain't going to Milwaukee to sign a free agent. Motherfuckers ain't going to Portland. They ain't going to Milwaukee. Motherfuckers ain't signing to go to Salt Lake in Utah. It's just motherfuckers ain't signing to go to Indianapolis with the Pacers. Free agents just ain't going to certain places, dog. These guys are still human. In certain places, you just got to get traded there to be there. You're not going there as a free agent. No matter who's there. Dame's been in Portland all these years. Tell me one big name free agent went up here and signed.
Nobody.
Exactly. Nobody. So they need to find a way to trade and get Dame or something. Because like you said, Kyrie it'd be awesome to see him with Giannis. But we know he ain't going to sign to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Yeah, he ain't gonna be.
He's not going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
For sure.
Just is what it is. Let's talk about them Suns though.
Let's talk about those Suns, man. Very, 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 very hot summer. Literally hot summer for the Suns.
Oh, God bless, bro. First of all, I feel bad for Monty Williams.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like he got a raw deal. I knew he was going to get fired, though. I said it before the season starts. If he loses the series, he's going to get fired. I remember I told Jock and my boy Quan, I was like, if he loses the series, he's going to get fired. Because if Bud got fired and he won a chip 2 years ago, I was like, Monty's definitely getting fired if he loses the series. And they traded for KD. He's getting fired. Yep. So I knew that was going to happen. I hated for him. That's the first thing. Secondly, DeAndre Ayton has to get traded. I think he's grown weary of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I think it's almost to the situation like Chris Paul was with the Clippers, where Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan just had enough of him always riding them all the time, all the time, being on their case. So you have to trade DeAndre Ayton. That's the first thing. He's got to go. I know they can't do anything with Chris Paul, but I would find some way as a GM to get rid of him. It's he's had a great career, but it's over, bro. Like as far as in the playoffs, it's like we all know he's gonna. It's like two people we know can get hurt in the playoffs: AD and Chris Paul. We just know.
Yeah.
We know at some point they're gonna get hurt. So he's definitely they got to find a way to get rid of Chris Paul and find a younger point guard. Like I told was talking the other day, I think Tyus Jones would be a great fit with him.
Very
you put Tyus Jones with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
Yes.
You put them with them two right there, and because he's a point guard that's not really looking for his, and that's what they need, and he would get them easy shots. I think it would be great if they could put together a package. I don't know because he signed his contract last summer, right?
Yeah, he signed an extension with Memphis.
If they could sign, but I know the Grizzlies not going to get rid of him now. Of course, they're definitely not going to get rid of him.
You really can't get rid of him now.
But that's what I said the other day because I know he feels like he's a starting point guard because he is.
I definitely is, sure.
So I think he would be on board with getting traded. But now he knows he's going to start at least 40 games next year. Now you got nothing to worry about. But that's what I thought. Like they need to get him, but they have to find a way to get rid of Paul and Ayton, man. I do. I feel like they need to figure out how to build around Book and KD because clearly what they have now is not going to work because their bench is trash. Let's be real. There are a whole bunch of role players. They're just not good. Man, I hate to say they're just not. Like I thought TJ Warren, Terrence Ross were going to help them, but it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure out a way to get some good role players because they traded all their role players away in the KD trade.
They did.
You know, you got rid of Bridges, who became a star in Brooklyn. You got rid of Cam Johnson, who's a good role player. Like, you got rid of all of them. Like, they really needed those two guys. You didn't keep Jay Crowder because of whatever was going on. I wish we knew what the hell was going on by Jay Crowder.
Yeah, man, absolutely, dog, for sure.
I wish we really knew what was going on. Still don't know the story. I wish we knew the story of what happened. To me, that was just all weird. So Phoenix has a lot of work to do this offseason because there's going to be so many expectations put on them coming into next year because you have let's be real, they have two of the top 10, 12 players in the NBA on the same team.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure out something, but they're not going to win if Chris Paul is still their starting point guard next year. I don't care what anybody tells me. They're not going to win. It's going to be the same situation next year. And if Aiden's still there, it's going to be the same situation again because I've never seen someone so disinterested, uninterested in a playoff game, Ma. Never in life.
Yeah.
We should never question a player's effort, Ma. Never. Not in the playoffs, bro. Regular season at times I get it, but in the playoffs, you just let a man give you 53 and not even like knock his ass down a couple times.
Different.
No, man. Like even today, this is off subject. I'm guarding Tatum. He's going crazy. He gonna catch a couple strays, bro. I'm sorry. He gonna catch a couple strays from me.
I got to. Yeah, got to.
He gonna catch a couple strays. I'm just saying. Oh, you good, bro? Let me help you up.
You got to.
Like, no. So they have a lot of work to do. Long story short, they have a lot of work to do because there's gonna be a lot of expectations put on them coming into next year. Deservingly so with two great players, and they're gonna have to figure it out. So James Jones, in his new role as GM there, he's been doing a great job, but he got a lot of pressure.
Funny you mentioned James Jones. I think a part of this is just my observation. I think with the new owner Matt, it should I don't know how to excuse my butcher this.
I don't either, bro. I don't either.
But I feel like he sort of diminished James Jones' power a little bit. Because if you didn't know, he was the one that did initiate the KD trade.
Oh, wow.
And he was also the one that initiated Monty Williams getting fired right after Game 6. So I think James Jones is kind of, again, this is kind of like my observation. I think he's more, leave it to James Jones. I think he would have kept Monty Williams for sure. You know what I'm saying? So I think Matt has really kind of been very aggressive in his decision making, but to me, I almost feel like it's somewhat kind of panicky too. I'm just not really sure about firing Monty Williams. I get it. His last two playoff series, the closing, the elimination games that got blown out. But Also, too, you got to take into account, I think, him having to adjust, like you said, adjust with that roster on the fly, being able to integrate KD into that system. And granted, KD didn't play a lot because he was hurt for majority
They
of
only played 8 games for the playoffs started.
yeah, only played 8 games. So I think it's kind of in playing with the bench that he had. I think it's kind of tough. I think it was an uphill battle for Monty. You know what I'm saying? I think this is me. I think it was an uphill battle for Monty to be able to kind of adjust and handle all of that. And then obviously, with the injury to Chris Paul, but which they played a lot better in regards to their pace because they were playing so much more faster, and he was more relying upon his bench, and his bench was able to get more of a rhythm and a flow because early on he was hammering KD and hammering Book, playing 40 some minutes, a game. And I don't think they was going to be able to uphold to that anyway, especially playing against a really good, Denver Nuggets team. You know what I'm saying? So, Aiden for sure. Aiden's has been disappointing. And you know what? I think it goes back to what I remember we had our that episode that we had early before the season started. And you talked about DeAndre Aiden and his disinterest in not really being there. And I think you started to see that creep up. And I think started to rear his ugly head in this playoff series. I think Aiden has kind of had that point where he just wants to be somewhere new. He wants a fresh start. He wants to be a bigger piece. He wants to be a bigger focal point and having a larger role. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of the competitiveness, man, I'm with you on that. I was a little bit disappointed in seeing him not really assert himself. Particularly, I think that one game he only had like 8 points and 8 rebounds, and they put the replacement big in, and the replacement big ended up closing the game, and I think they ended up winning that game. As a matter of fact,
They did. It was game 4.
Yeah, game 4. You know what I mean? And so, Aiden and Aiden's got a lot of talent. Aiden's got a lot of upside potential.
Yeah.
And people forget he was the number one. And also was the number one pick. He was picked over.
He was. He's super skilled. He's super skilled.
So it's so and I think Aiden may have to like get a little reality check in that, like, yo, this team, this franchise chose you over Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's a place. I think that relationship has gone left. It's been left ever since last year. I think it's just time. It's time for you, Phoenix. It's time for you to trade them. It's time for you to get some of your assets back. Whatever you can get back that you lost from the KD trade. Now that my boy Chris Paul, it's my dog, one of my favorite point guards of all time. It's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that, man, he's back in his position again, and it's a wrap.
It's over, bro. It's over. He had his one shot, bro.
He had his one shot. I think Chris Paul's with 37,
38
38 years old. And he always gets to this juncture and point in the season, man, where an injury just always happens, man. So I think the interesting thing is where he ends up. Because I think he's not gonna end up in Phoenix. He's not gonna be back next year for Phoenix full time. But what team can Phoenix do a deal with?
They want that contract.
They want that wants that contract, and I don't think contending. I don't know. I don't think contending teams are going to want to eat that contract for a 38, 39-year-old Chris Paul. Do you trade him to a bottom feeder team and see if you can steal a hidden piece from a bottom feeder team that can help your team? And maybe coop a draft pick or two. I don't know. But those are the two. That's going to be the two. Well, three things is handling of Chris Paul, the handling of DeAndre Ayton, and then the coach that you bring in, and then their bench. Just being able to provide some quality, some quality pieces that fits that team around KD and Book, because D Book, man, and we're gonna talk about this later on, but D Book, man, phenomenal. KD struggled. He struggled this series. I think he struggled.
It wasn't itself. It just wasn't itself.
It wasn't itself. But again, I think a part of that came, like we talked about earlier, him still trying to get a flow and get a chemistry and get continuity with the guys. Because again, only playing 8 games and then getting hurt right before the playoffs, and then now you're thrown right into the fire. Like, I think people don't understand that part of the adjustment game of basketball. Like, it's not just, like 2K. Okay, man, I got KD, I got D Book. Okay, y'all gonna score 100 points and then we gonna win. Like, basketball don't work that way. Like, it takes time to really to get acclimated, to know your teammates, to know the system, but you're building around those two. You got something special for sure. So now it'll be interesting to see the owner Matt, what he does, and see what he would allow James Jones to do too. So Phoenix Suns they're in a good spot, but their window is very, very short. I will say that they have a very short, small window, and I think the Western Conference is only going to get better before it gets worse. So,
Okay.
yeah, we'll see.
What about the Warriors?
Warriors, very, very, very interesting offseason for them as well. All of these teams have some very, very interesting off seasons. I'm gonna be real quick on the Warriors. I'm not sure, and I might get a lot of flack for this. I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring Klay Thompson back. Not sure if I'm bringing back. You could tell. I mean, you could tell the injuries has catching up to him in regards. Like he's definitely not himself. Of course, I know it's going to take a lot of. Again, you coming back from not only an ACL but an Achilles, back to back consecutive off seasons. Like that's going to take way more time than predicated. Is Klay Thompson willing to take a pay cut? I know he's eligible for an extension. I think, if anything, I think at this point in juncture, I think Draymond Green is a more valuable piece for them for what he does. I think you make him a priority more so than Klay, just because of what he brings. Um, Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga, be on the lookout to see what they do with them. I'm very intrigued to see what they do with Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole needs to be traded. I think you can get something from him.
Oh,
Yeah, I think.
whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
and the only reason why, and me personally, I personally think that Jordan Poole would want to see being in a position where he can start because his numbers have shown when he starts, he produces at a high rate, at a high clip. But he's got to be more committed on the defensive side of the ball. I will say that. As talented as he is offensively, Jordan Poole we gotta lock in defensively, bro. Like gotta be we can't play doormat defense. You know what I'm saying? But Jonathan Kuminga as well, I think is another young piece that they can use as trade bait to kind of dangle and see what they can get back. I think you try to keep the core. I think you try to keep the core together of Klay, Steph, and Draymond. But again, I really going to depend on what Klay does in regards of if he wants, if he's going to be willing to take that pay cut or not. If he doesn't take that pay cut, it will be very enticing and interesting to see where he ends up. And there will be a ton of suitors wanting the services of Klay Thompson, particularly.
Yeah, we'll take him in LA.
That's why I said particularly LA Lakers, which I think would be a fantastic fit at that. Yeah. So, I think this was a very dysfunctional season for the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, with the Draymond Jordan Poole situation when it took place, and they could just never really figure it out on the road. I think we were all kind of waiting for them to just, all right, they're gonna turn the corner. All right, they're gonna just turn the switch on and boom, they're gonna figure it out. But they never did. I think they can never just get that level of consistency that they needed to be able to get themselves, back into the championship form, championship contention. I never felt, watching them play this year. I just never really felt that they were the Golden State of old. You know what I mean? So, it'll be, it'll be a very, very watchful off season for the Warriors to see how they adjust and see what they do. But I think you make Draymond a priority over Klay for right now. I think Klay just, is not himself, of course. But it's going to take time for him to get back to his form, and we'll see what they do.
I think they're going to run it back one more time because Dre has 1 year left. Klay has 1 year left.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to run it back one more time. I think they're going to try to figure out how to build around the core of Steph, Klay, and Draymond and Wiggs. Um, I understand your point about Jordan Poole playing the number say he plays better as starter, which he did. Uh, this whole run has been predicated off a small ball. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why you just wouldn't plug him in and move Wiggins to the 4 and have Draymond at the 5 and just play small as hell. I know at times they get out rebounded like crazy. I get it. Certain teams you can't play that way. You can't play Denver that way all the time. You can't play the Lakers that way because of AD. But you can play a lot of teams that way and they can get away with it with the way they play. Um, don't know if that'll happen, but I really believe they're going to run it back. Everybody's saying Trey Jordan Poole. You're not the first person I heard say that because of how he played in the playoffs and all that. Listen, the fact that Jordan Poole was able to shake Draymond's hand throughout this whole season is an accomplishment in itself.
That's facts.
Because
Facts. Yeah.
the way it started is it's I commend Jordan Poole for being a professional.
Yeah.
Because it would be very tough to shake a dude's hand that punch. I know people get to fight in practice. We talk about it, happens all the time, but when it gets out, it just makes everything different. It just is what it is. But I do think they're gonna run it back one more time, and then I think whatever happens this upcoming season is gonna predicate who they bring back. I think that's the where they're gonna play it.
Yeah.
But they have to find a way to get someone off the bench, and they got to get another big. I love Looney. Looney's injury is great, but they need a big that's they need a big that it is a threat offensively. Because a lot of times in the pick and rolls, Looney catches the ball, and AD was just sitting in the paint like, bro, we know you're not gonna score, like whatever.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to figure out a way to get a big that can, like you said, Lopez is a free agent. That'd be a crazy pickup. That'd be crazy. If they got Brook Lopez, it'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. That would be a.
So they're gonna have to do that, but I think they're gonna run it back because Steph's playing at a high level, bro. I told somebody the other day, and it's like, you're crazy. I think Steph's playing at a better level than he was when he was at MVP. And it's not even about the scoring. He's just doing so much.
Yeah.
The rebounds, his defense is picked up. It's just so much other stuff that Steph does now that affects the game. And I think he's playing so much better than he was when he won MVP. And he was playing out of this world when he won MVP. But it was just all shooting and scoring. So I think they're running back because they're scary, bro. I was watching the game of the night, and we was up by like 18. And I was like, bro, I really don't feel comfortable because I know they can just make a run at any point. They're always scared. They're always a threat. So you just can't break it up yet, Ma. I can't see them breaking it up yet. They got to run it back one more time and try to find some pieces to go with their core because they're still one of the scariest teams in the NBA, bro. It's the reason why everybody was like, they're going to turn the corner, they're going to click, they're going to run a road game because we've seen it too many times. And I know you can't continue to win because you get old, and I understand what happens, but I think they're going to lock in this summer, and they're going to be crazy next year. I really do. I think they're going to go crazy next year. Absolutely. I don't know about winning the title, but I think they're going to go crazy. They're going to make a deep run. I really believe that.
And to add one more thing, I think they were going back to James Wiseman. I think that's why they were really banking on James Wiseman to be.
Yes, definitely.
Especially for a series against the Lakers, against you guys.
Definitely.
Need somebody that can match AD, not in production, but just kind of make AD work on the side of the ball, and then you're giving them length and athleticism and strength. And I think James Wiseman not panning out to be what they I think his his development just took too long for their timeline. If you're having a James Wiseman, if he was where he needed to be for them at that time, like he fits perfectly what you're talking about in terms of having a proper big that can provide those services that would help their team. But hey man, listen, one thing about Golden State, man, they are the standard of excellence. They will be back. So it's definitely going to be a lot of watchful eyes in regards to see what moves they make in off season. But sticking to the West, man, let's talk about the team that they defeated in the first round, man. The Sacramento Kings. Let's talk about their offseason.
What do you do? What do you add?
I know.
Like, they're young, have a great point guard. I will say this, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion as well. I don't think Sabonis is as good as everybody thinks. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't, Mom. I don't think he's as good as they're trying to make him sound to be. I think he's. I don't think he's a star. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't play.
Yep.
I don't think he's a star because he really struggles to score offensively if you're not giving him a dump off.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not, he can't shoot the ball consistently from 15 to 18 feet. Like he doesn't have an assortment of moves around the basket. Um, I don't think. I think he's more a facilitator than he is a scoring presence. I think he's good. He works well with D Fox and pick and rolls and stuff like that, creating easier shots sometimes for D Fox and pick and rolls and handoff DHOs and stuff like that. But I just don't look at him as like he can get us 25 tonight because we need him to get us 25 to win this game. And that's what you need from your star in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't give them that. He was low key, not a threat at times offensively. Um, but I don't know what they need, Ma. Like they got Fox, great point guard. You have a shooter in Herrera. I can never say his name. Um, Harrison Barnes is solid at 3. And you got Sabonis. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what they need. They're a deep team. They're young. It was a great pickup signing Monk, Trey Lyles.
Yep.
Like, I just can't put my finger on like what do they need to get better. I think Mike Brown choked a little bit in Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think he didn't adjust to Steph going crazy. He just kept letting him go crazy. You're gonna wait till he gets 44 before you start double teaming. Like it's a little late now, man. Come on now.
Yeah, facts.
I say it all the time, and I mean it. And the Lakers play defense like this the whole series. I cannot go to sleep at night if I let Steph beat me. But I can go to sleep if Clay and Wiggins and whoever else beats me. I can go to sleep at night. But if I'm gonna let Curry beat me by himself, nah, bro, I'm not letting that happen. And that's how the Lakers defended the Warriors the whole series. Like somebody else beat us, that's fine. Like I can live with it. But I can't let the best shooter of all time beat me. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like I'm gonna find a way to get the basketball out of his hands.
Absolutely, because he wigged out Game 7. Like he just,
my God, it's crazy.
Performance, one of those performances like you put your memory back.
Hey, real quick, pick or pop. Who had the better Game 7 performance, Tatum or Curry?
Tatum went Super Saiyan Goku, bro. Like he was going insane.
And Steph wasn't.
Golly, I gotta go Steph because of the game was close. I gotta go Steph, and I think they, because they put away towards the end.
I'm taking Steph because it was a road game.
It's a road game at that. Yeah, it was a road game.
I ain't saying it's easy. I take it back. It's a little more comfortable to have a Game 7 at home than it is on the road.
And it is hard to win at Sacramento. They like that beam. They like that beam.
Hey, what Steph said? I like that beam.
Yeah, man. I think, man, congrats to Sacramento, man, having a fantastic year. Mike Brown has done a fantastic job here with those guys. Deservedly and rightfully so, should have been coach of the year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think, man, what you said was, spot on with them, man. I think they got all the pieces. I think the Sabonis Fox combination, it fits, it works, seamlessly together. Sabonis does have to pick up his play a little bit more in the playoffs. I think he's kind of a little bit inconsistent. Fox had his coming out party. I'm glad that they made the playoffs because just showing how really good Fox has been for a long time. But you saw him really this year elevate his game, and him getting All NBA was rightfully deserved as well. Right. Which is crazy because he wasn't even selected as an All-Star, but he made a third-team All-NBA. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
But we know why, though.
Why?
Listen, fumbled the bag, messed up everything.
Oh, that's right.
Fumbled the bag, lost everything. That's why he didn't get to the All-NBA. Right? Fumbled the bag was going to be at least one.
He was going to be All-NBA for sure. Yeah, facts. That's a good point.
That's why.
Good point. Yeah, fumble the bag was definitely going to be all. Yeah, he's going to be All-NBA. But no, Fox really had his coming out party. Great seeing him and Malik Monk, that dynamic duo, man. Back, you feel like you was watching them back at Kentucky again. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Really getting to it. Um, they've really got a lot of good young pieces. I think what you do with Harrison Barnes, that'll be pretty interesting. But I think with the emergence of Keegan Murray, I thought he was
Man.
a very underrated rookie. I thought he was very solid, very steady.
Mm-hmm.
Fits exactly what Sacramento was looking for. Adding the addition of Kevin Herter. Obviously, you got Davion Mitchell, Mr. Off Night. We got Trey, like I said, Trey Lyles was a great pickup. Um, what's my man? Davis.
Terrence Davis.
Yes, Terrence Davis. Um, Guys like that, like ninth, 10th type, 10th men type guys
Mm-hmm.
that can produce and play. Um, I think the only thing that Sacramento needed, man, was just really just experience. You know what I'm saying? So they needed this experience. I think they needed to just, they needed just to grow up. You know what I mean, and just learn and evolve. And I they played a fantastic series. That was definitely one of the best first round series that we saw in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Very entertaining. I think just very competitive back and forth. I love the direction of the Sacramento team, the direction that they're going. Um, Maybe looking to adding another veteran piece, a veteran piece that can help. I think just kind of get them over the hump. Maybe adding maybe another dynamic scorer, playmaker, something along those lines. I think they're pretty covered, man, across the board. Maybe backup center though, a good quality backup center too. I think that's
Yeah. Yeah.
they may want to concentrate on this offseason. But I'm loving what the Sacramento Kings are doing. Love what Mike Brown is doing. That beam will be lit for quite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're back to the Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Mike Bibby days, man. So I think
They
Sacramento,
are.
they're not going to be a dormant Western Conference team. They're going to be one of those teams that's going to be contending at the top of the West and really making it competitive, man. And so it'd be interesting to see what they really do. But I really like the direction that they're going in and where they're going to flow.
Let's stay out. Let's do the last two teams from the West, I think.
And then
What
we
about
got
the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Minnesota Timberwolves. Interesting. Well, one, you build that team around Anthony Edwards. I think you focus and do whatever you need to do to put the quality, to put the right pieces around him. Anthony Edwards is going to be a superstar in this league. Um, the dynamic of Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, not going to work. I didn't like the fit anyway. Um, I just think that it's just not going to, be conducive to them competing and playing championship level basketball. I think Karl Anthony Towns has to grow up.
Hold on. Do you really think they're gonna build around Ant?
Yes, I do. I really do. I really think they're going to build around Anthony Edwards. I think for them to take that next step, Anthony Edwards has to be the best player. And
I
that's
mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but
mhm.
I'm saying like I just look at the way they. I don't know, man. I listen to Cat talk on pods and stuff, and I just don't know if he's gonna defer like that. I guess is what I'm saying. I just don't. I don't know.
I'm gonna give you a hot take. I'm trading Cat. Trading. I
Mm.
you're not going to. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get a lot for Gobert. I mean, they gave up an arm and a leg, so you got to bite a bullet on that for sure. But I'm going to trade Karl Anthony Towns, and I know there would be a lot of suitors
Oh,
wanting.
definitely. He can hoop.
And he go, oh, like Karl Anthony Towns, he's an all star. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can play. Um, I'm going to trade if we got to pick and make that decision. I'm going to trade Karl Anthony Towns. I think Anthony Edwards has the ability. I think just his charisma. I think his leadership ability at such a young age. I think he has that desire. And I'm not saying that Cat doesn't. So I don't want that to be misconstrued. But I just think that Anthony Edwards has an it factor about him that he's a guy that you can put the team on his back, and they're going to follow his lead. And I think you saw that a lot this year, especially when Cat went out. You know what I mean? Like I felt like they
Mm-hmm.
played a lot better. I felt like
Yeah.
they had more of a rhythm, more of a flow. Um, he's a young guy that you could tell you talked about earlier about really loving the game. You can tell he's a guy that really loves basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like he really loves the grind. He loves the process, the journey of what comes with greatness. You know what I'm saying? So so if I hot take for me, man, I'm gonna be on the phone. I'm gonna talk to some teams. I'm gonna put Cat's name in some trade talks and see what I can get back from him. Because I'm gonna build this team around Anthony Edwards. I think the combination of Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert just works a little bit better, not just from not offensively. I mean, obviously, like Rudy's got to improve on the offensive standpoint. And I saw a report that Anthony Edwards is going to spend some time with Rudy Gobert this summer to work out with him in France. But you see, like doing those type of things, that's taking on that leadership role, and that's why I love Ant. But if they do keep Cat, Cat has to become um, better just mentally in regards of how he plays the game in the postseason. He's supremely talented. I think he's supremely gifted. I think he's got a lot of a lot of art and got a lot of tools in his bag, but you can still tell he sort of plays a little reckless and careless, not really being conscious of time and situation, particularly when getting in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? He's very foul prone. Very foul prone in the postseason, and the times when his team needs him most, like he's just not available because he's on the bench because he's in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, if I'm Minnesota, I'm really locking in. My key focus for the offseason for them is Anthony Edwards. I'm going to put a game plan to build my team around him, complement him with another co-star, another guy that can that can be a good number two, that can help take pressure off of him. You surround him with some complementary pieces, and I think you got your center in Rudy Gobert. That's your defensive anchor. He's going to hold down the paint, protect the paint, and I think you just build around Ant, man. That would be my focus for Minnesota in the offseason.
Um, if they do decide to trade Cat, it's really not a loss. I feel like Nas Reed is very serviceable coming in and at that role that was started at the four. I feel like he had had a great season, especially when Cat was out. He played really well.
He did.
I really feel like. Say it again.
I said before he got hurt, that was a big loss when he.
Yeah, before he got hurt before the playoffs. I'm saying it was a big loss. They have a good young core off the bench with him.
Yep.
Was it Noel?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who else come off the bench? Well, he started. McDaniel started at 3. So they have a good young core with Ant already. So Trey, I guess what you're saying, trading Cat, that does make somewhat sense. I agree with you saying because they can't go back running back with him and Gobert again. They just can't.
No, can't work.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Because it's just no spacing, and it turned Cat into strictly a spot up shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't run it back. I like Mike Conley as the point guard.
Yep.
To give them that veteran presence and to keep everything under control. I think that for them to take that next leap, like you said, they're gonna have to play through Anthony Edwards. But I don't know, Ma. I'm serious. If Cat is there, I just don't see it. I feel like they're always gonna run into Cat if Cat is still there. So they would have to trade him. But they're gonna get just a little deeper.
Yes.
Just a little deeper. You got to find some way to get their bench just a little deeper. And I think they could make a okay run in the playoffs if they would get just a little deeper. But I think, like you say, Anthony Edwards is going to be a superstar. I think next year he's going to take a crazy leap. I'm talking like in the MVP voting to leap. That's what I think is going to happen.
I believe that. Like 30 a game. Like
I think he's going because like I was real sketch on him going into the playoffs after that play-in game. But then the way he bounced back when they played New Orleans, I was like, oh, he got it, bro.
Man, he went crazy. Crazy.
He got it. So I think he's going to take a crazy leap because he plays hard every night. He's not one of those guys that's just, I'm on coast. Like, he plays hard every night. And he tries to play defense as well.
He does.
So, I think he's going to take a crazy leap. Plus, he got a great trainer, too. So, shout out to his trainer.
He's a trainer. Real good trainer, for sure. And one thing I love about, and he's competitive, man. Like he does.
It's hell.
He hunts matchups. Like he's running hard the other team's best player, especially if they're playing his position. Like he is seeking that. You know what I'm saying? And so like a guy that I feel like that's you want to lead your team that has maybe that, that potential championship pedigree in regards of just having that mental edge and that competitiveness. Like that's what he exudes. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like at this young age, like that team, again, when Cat was out, that team really followed him. I think that team, they really followed his lead. And
Yeah.
he had it going. Like Ant had it going. He definitely had it going in the stretch, man. So Minnesota, focus on Ant-Man. Focus on Ant-Man. I think, again, Cat is a great player. I think he just doesn't fit what they have going on right now, especially since the fact that you traded for Rudy Gobert and you gave up so much for him. I think you're pretty much stuck with Rudy right now. So see what you can get from Cat to kind of recoup some of those things. And I think you can get Cat has a lot of value, obviously, because there's a lot of teams that would want his services because of how talented he is. So I would focus on definitely focus on Ant, for the offseason. Let's do one more team, brother.
Let's do one more team, bro. We've been here 75 minutes. Let's do one more team, bro.
We got one more team.
Hey, let's just finish the West, bro. Let's just finish the West. Let's just finish with the last team we haven't talked about. Your favorite team in the West?
Who's my favorite team in the West?
The Memphis Grizzlies. We got to talk about it, man.
The tough
we
guy.
ain't even got to talk about 12. We can talk about Dylan Brooks.
We already talked about 12.
We can talk about Dylan Brooks' situation.
Yeah.
And what they need. Let's just start with Dylan Brooks first. I don't like the way they tried to make him the scapegoat.
Yep.
Like it was his fault that they lost the series to the Lakers. First of all, y'all were going to lose the series whether he said anything or not. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Anyway. But I don't like the way they made him the scapegoat and try to act like it was his fault and all this other stuff. When in reality, we know the distractions that started earlier in the season. What the Grizzlies need, in my opinion, they have to find a way to get some shooting. They don't have any shooting. And I tell people that and they look at me like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't look at Bane as a shooter, Maul. I look at Bane as a scorer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a guy. I don't put him in the mind frame of a JJ Redick or a Kyle Korver or type like that. Or who led the league this year in 3-point percentage they always talk about? Jesus, was it? I went blank that fast. But anyway, I don't look at him that way. So they have to find some shooting. They tried to with Luke Kennard, but he's such a defensive liability they can't play him.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to find some true 3-and-D guys. Like Rocco would be perfect in Memphis. You know that, man?
No, Rocco would be perfect in Cleveland. I do not want Rocco to go. Rocco would be perfect in Cleveland, Ohio, for sure.
But you know what I'm saying, though. You know what I'm saying?
He would be great. Now, he would be fantastic with Memphis for sure.
They need some 3-and-D guys and he would give them a veteran presence in the locker room.
Yes, absolutely.
Of a lot of professionalism, how to handle yourselves. He would give them all of that, and that's what they need in that locker room. Because I know somebody was like, well, they got Steven Adams. Steven Adams, why would Ja, no disrespect, but why would Ja listen to Steven Adams? Like, I wouldn't. Like, bro, you're not even from here. Like, you don't know what I'm going through. So I think they need somebody like that. But they have to get some shooting. And they have to find, I've always said this too, they need a wing that can just go get a bucket, Mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They do, bro. Like, I feel like Memphis has never had that except for when Rudy Gay was there.
Yeah.
I don't think Memphis has ever had a wing that is just like, go get us a bucket, bro. We ain't scored 3 possessions. Can you go get us a bucket real quick? They've just never, because I feel like Bane depends on pin downs and kickouts and stuff like that. It's not like he's breaking people down to go get a buck. It's rare you see him breaking people down. And I think it's a lot to ask of 12, who is 6 foot, 102 pounds, soaking wet, to continually take that beating that he takes trying to go to the basket every time because he doesn't want to shoot that pull-up. He's got to get a pull-up too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was never more evident than in that Lakers series. They were going under every screen and just daring him to shoot. And he got hot one game and everybody overreacted but the Lakers. They was like, bro, we're not worried about that. We know that's fake. And it was. So he's going to have to figure out a way to get at least a little 15, 18-foot pull-up so they can start respecting it. Like, even Tony Parker ended up getting a pull-up, man. Like, you have to find a way to get a pull-up. Some way, somewhere, come off the ball screen. Because if not, he's going to stay hurt all the time, Mom. He's just going to stay hurt. Because it's just a lot to ask of a dude that small to go take a beating every night.
Absolutely. I'm with you, man. Dylan Brooks, as much as he's causing the skin of so many people, I did not like how they treated Dylan Brooks. Some of that was, let's call what it is, some of that was a bit self-inflicted on his part too. Just with the antics and things to a degree. But Dylan Brooks was a big part of their rebuild, a big part of their growth, and he was a big part of their culture in regards to bringing the toughness, bringing the edge, and bringing an intensity, and kind of resemblance of that grit and grind, that Memphis is known for. Like Dylan Brooks kind of embodied that. Just the extra was not necessary, you know what I mean? But I did not like how they treated him. Desmond Bane I think Desmond Bane is a shooter though, bro. I think he shot 40%. I think he shot like 41% from three on like 7 attempts a game. So
I just don't get. I know what you're saying, and I know the numbers tell. I just don't. I don't know, man. It's just something about. I guess because he's so swole. I just don't get that vibe. I don't
know. You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Yeah, you.
First of all.
Oh, so you better than Desmond Bane now.
No. Oh, I didn't. You wouldn't let me finish.
Okay,
no. I'm a little bit of everything on the basketball court. A scorer, a passer, a shooter. I'm a little bit of everything. So like, I just can't say that.
Post player, you're a post player.
Oh, I put you on the block. I will. It's not a problem.
And this is false information.
Left shoulder fade. It's not. Stop playing with me. Left shoulder fade all day.
I give you that. That's your favorite shot. But I got the scout report now, so we're gonna shut that down. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna shut that down. We're gonna take some away. I know you got bags, the counters, but
the counter everything, Mom. Come on, man. You a trainer, you know that.
Of course. Let's not digress. Let's get.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I think I'm with you though. I like Desmond Bane. I honestly think Desmond Bane would be a great third option.
Yes.
A championship contending team, they do need another bucket getter. I don't think you're going to win a championship with Ja Morant in regards of the way he plays, especially in the playoffs. Like you said, him developing, getting a mid-range pull-up. And that's one thing that I have taken away from the playoffs. Guys like Jalen Brunson, guys like De'Aaron Fox,
yes,
their ability to play in the second level, getting to the floaters, getting to the mid-range pull-ups, like even Steph as well. Like those guys have an ability to, especially when you struggle, scoring and Ja just plays super athletic, but he also plays a bit reckless too.
Yes,
like he stays on the floor a lot. He's got to develop that pull-up. So I think having somebody that you can throw it to and say, hey, go make something happen for me. You know what I'm saying? I think Bane serves more. He would fit perfectly into that third option type of guy. A guy that can bring you 17 to 20 a game on efficiency shooting. Solid. Bane is really solid. He's a really good player. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
I don't look at them in the aspect of, taking that next step until they find that guy. So if I said this, if I was Memphis, I would have been in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. I would have tried to get KD. Complimenting KD and Ja, that's crazy. And I would have gave up a lot. I would definitely gave up a lot to get Kevin Durant. But I think with the dynamic play of Ja at the point guard position, you match that with a guy like KD that can take so much off of Ja. That's OD. You know what I'm saying? But they need somebody, not, I don't know if you're going to find somebody of KD's caliber, but you need that co-star. You need another co-star that can take the pressure off of Ja until, if Ja develops that part of his game. And if he does it, you still have that security blanket of somebody that can operate from the 3-point, somebody that can shot create, somebody that can operate from the mid-range game as well. Um, One thing they've always been known, they've got good, pretty solid depth. But now, like I said, with I think Dylan Brooks being gone, and then obviously with the Ja Morant situation, Tyus Jones has been a steady force for them. Now he's going to be in the starting point guard position. How do you replace him? The center position. I think backup center. Xavier Tillman did a really good job. Um, he did a really good job playing the center position. But I think trying to figure out and finding another backup center. Jaren Jackson, I think he's got to take another step in his development. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. I think he's going to have to bring a little bit more to the offensive side of the ball as well, and to take that next step. So I want to see Jaren Jackson in the offseason, see him take his game to a whole different level. I think that the pieces are there for Memphis. I think Memphis has some quality pieces. I do like what's the shooter, the foreign shooter. I forgot his name. But he's 6'10", but he can space the floor. He can really shoot it. You know what I'm talking about. Though he's very underrated player. Like he's very savvy, knows how to play, smart player. And then you're going to have to challenge Zaire Williams. They're another one of their young players. They're 6'10", 6'11". Got a lot of upside, got a lot of promise and potential, but you're going to need him to take that next step. And then I think too, them not having Brandon Clark was a big hit into the playoff run as well. He was injured with the Achilles, rupturing his Achilles. So him being back, see how he looks. They got good pieces, but I think filling the void of finding another co-star, and then I think the backup center position, and then obviously you're gonna got to figure out something for the first 30 to 40 something games, or whatever, depending on how many games Ja's out. Find another quality backup for Tyus Jones to help spell some minutes for Tyus Jones. I think playing Desmond Bane at the one just isn't. It's okay, but it doesn't. It's not a part of his game. You know what I mean? Like it takes away from what you really need him to do.
I just don't fear them, Mal. I just don't. I don't fear them.
No, I don't.
I don't look at them like, oh shit, we really don't want to match up with them in the first round. I don't think nobody looks at them like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why they need another star.
Yeah.
They have to get a wing that's like that can go.
That can go get you one. Like they were to get like a Brandon Ingram or something.
Yeah. Goodness, that'd be crazy. That's not happening. But that would be crazy. But they need a wing that can just go because I just don't think nobody looks at them like, oh, we played Memphis the first round. We could be all right. We're straight. We'll be straight.
And I think that's what the Lakers did, and and then the Grizz gave them bulletin board material as well, just from that. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, Memphis they got potential, they got pieces, but they've got to fill those holes. They got you need your franchise guy to stay out of trouble. And
good luck with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, but let's do this pick and pop real quick before we get off here, sir.
Let's do it, brother.
All right, pick or pop. We're gonna jump right into it. Jordan Poole or Draymond Green?
I go Draymond. Draymond. You said it earlier. They got running back. I think out of just respect for the legacy and the lineage that those three guys have created for the Golden State Warriors, and this is not taking away from Jordan Poole because Jordan Poole is a great young player. I gotta go Draymond. I'm gonna tie my loyalty to what got me here, and we're gonna ride that till the wheels fall off. So I'm going Draymond.
This has nothing to do with you working his camp every
Sunday. Oh no, not at all. And
it has nothing to do with that, right? It's not personal, right?
I'm totally being unbiased. I mean, even though I'm being unbiased. I'm being unbiased because that's it is my guy. But I think just what he brings to that team is very underrated, very undervalued. But Golden State appreciates that about him. And I just feel like, man, I feel like you can find another Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can get another Jordan Poole. But Jordan Poole can play, and it's not to take away anything from him. But I gotta go Draymond.
I'm taking Draymond as well. It's not even close for me.
Yeah.
I just feel like what he does is not replaceable in Golden State. That's why they can't get rid of him.
Thanks.
I feel like, no disrespect to Steph or Clay, I'm not saying they wouldn't have great careers without him, but I don't think their careers would be the same if he wasn't there. I
Absolutely.
I don't think they have four rings and all this other things that's been going on if Draymond isn't Draymond. I just
Absolutely.
I don't think it ever happens. It's just we don't. It's not a dynasty because
Without
he was just the key. He was the key to the car to make it go. He was, bro. Like all
it.
the things he does offensively, his IQ, the things he was doing when he was younger defensively. No, it just never happens. All right, the next one, Jokic or AD.
This is a tough one, but I am going to go with Jokic. And the reason why I'm going with Jokic. Now, yeah, get up. I knew. Now, I got to tell you something. I got to give you a backstory real quick. I ain't going to be long. I have been defending AD. I'm in a group text with my guy, Ian Clark, Adam Barnes. Shout out my dog, Adam Barnes, and Karan Johnson. Shout out my dog, Karan Johnson. We're in a group text. I am constantly defending AD because we always talk about AD versus Giannis, AD versus Giannis. And I'm like, AD is just as talented as Giannis, for sure. I think he's definitely got more skill than Giannis. I think if AD was to stay healthy, he would be better than Giannis. But Giannis availability, I think Giannis dominance. So, and I've just seen instances when AD goes crazy. He goes crazy, but then he has those moments where it's just like, what the hell, AD? Where are you? So I gotta go with Joker, man. And listen, Joker, I one one of the best I've seen at his position. Now can't defend if his life depending on it, but
Okay.
his life depending on it. So let's not take that to. I,
Okay.
I'm going to ride with the consistent. I know exactly what I'm going to get from Jokic night in, night out. AD will give it to you in 2 games, and then he will have a game. And we got to call it what it is based on behavior, based on patterns. He will give you a game where he's just, I don't know, he isn't there. So I'm going to bank on the consistency of Jokic because I know what I'm going to get from him and his dominance. But I will say this AD is going to make his ass work for sure if the AD that we know comes ready to play. But I got to go Jokic.
I'm not even gonna entertain this, bro. Like
Be biased now.
I am gonna be biased, and
Be
I'm
biased.
taking AD. It's not
I
even a
mean, yeah, be
question for
biased, but
me.
be biased. Be
And
biased.
it's and it may make Jokic is a better basketball player. I'm not gonna say he isn't. He is a better basketball player. That's why he's won the MVP twice. Could have won it a third time. But I'm taking AD just because of what AD does defensively, the space he takes up, the way he rebounds the basketball, the way he changes every shot around the basket. I know my Lakers are not even nowhere near the conference finals if AD's not healthy. And people can talk about the inconsistency offensively and all that stuff, but the man is rebounded and defended every night. Every night.
But
So
he gonna have to bring some point production in this series. I tell you what, because
all I know is
Jokic,
this.
Jokic down for 25, 10.
All I know is this. The
Come on.
last time they played in the bubble in the conference finals, it was 4-1. That's all I know.
That's 4-1. Yeah, it's
It was
4-1, man.
4-1.
And it's a whole different Nuggets team too,
It
man.
is a
A
whole
whole
different
different
Laker
Lakers team.
team too.
And this Lakers team ain't got as much depth. They ain't got as much depth. You know what
We
I'm
ain't got as much what? We don't need no depth. We good. We got 7, 8 solid niggas we can use. We good.
Playing against this Denver Nuggets team, boy.
I'm not
Okay.
worried about that, bro.
If Tavis Caldwell Pope, y'all ain't got him no more. He
As
on that
long
side.
as we control Jamal Murray, we'll be fine.
Okay, oh, yeah. We gonna
That's the only person I'm worried about. Like I told somebody the other day,
Jamal
Jokic
Murray,
is gonna be Jokic, man. You don't stop great players from being great.
Jamal Murray is going to go off.
That's who you have to control. If you can control Jamal Murray, if they can keep him under control, they have a great shot at winning the series. But you can't let Jokic get 25 and then Murray has 28, 32. It's not gonna work.
And then Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon will be the X factors in this series as well.
Oh, the role player is always X factor.
Okay,
If Austin Reeves plays good, we got a chance. Schroeder plays good. D'Lo. I mean, it's always up to the role players who win series. This is that's the point. 'Cause stars are gonna be stars.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got two more. Let's go with Jimmy Butler or Jason Tatum. Don't be a prisoner of the moment with what you just saw today, Jamal.
I'm going to be the prisoner of the moment. I am going to go with Jimmy Dean Butler.
Okay, I'm about to make sure.
Even though Tatum wigged out, but Tatum has been. One thing I will say about Tatum, when Tatum's hot, he's hot. But when he's cold,
oh my God, he's free though.
Yeah, he has those stretches. So I gotta go Butler. What Butler is doing for this team, as Miami as the AFC playing, again, Lakers, Heat playing in situation. There's a lot of interesting storylines. These 4 teams from the bubble, rematches.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting storylines. Like we can see a Lakers Celtics. We can see a Lakers Heat.
Follow the money. Follow the money.
You know what I'm saying? So Denver, Denver first time getting back to the, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be interesting.
Ain't no money in that. Follow the money.
That's true though. That's true. Yeah. So we got NBA. Stick to the script. Lakers Celtics. Yeah. So I got to go Jimmy, man. I think Jimmy, playoff Jimmy is really pausing that FYI too. Playoff Jimmy is a real thing. Watching him elevate his game as the playoffs progress, and you just saw what he did with beating Milwaukee, even though Giannis was out a couple games. But still, I mean, you play who you play. You could have easily lost those games. Jimmy carried those guys, and Miami's been playing well, and the team has been playing well as a whole. And then coming back and beating the scrappy New York Knicks team, and Jimmy just closed. Just being a closer that he is. I gotta go Jimmy Butler, man, just from the level of consistency. But Jason Tatum, yeah, he's starting to pick it back up. But I gotta go with Jimmy Butler because he's been more consistent.
Oh, it's Jimmy Butler, hands down. Like you said, because of the whole consistency thing. And he's really carried I hate to use this word, but he's really carried an average team to the conference finals.
Yes.
He's doing this without Tyler Hero, who's their second best player. Or maybe, is he their second best player? Yeah, he's the second best player. Or is it Bam? But either way, he's doing it without Tyler Hero.
A 2A, 2B. I think they kind of 2A, 2B. You know what I mean?
He's doing it without Hero. He's doing it with the old Kyle Lowry. He's doing it with a bunch of undrafted guys. Like, the shit's incredible, bro. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I've never seen someone elevate their play like this in the playoffs every time.
Every time.
It's like we've seen a lot of great basketball players come to the NBA, but bro, the shit he was doing in the first round.
The 50 ball, and this is when Giannis came back. When Giannis had a crazy triple double, 38, 17.
We've just never seen anything like this. No, nothing taking away, nothing away from Tatum, because Tatum is
he's special,
man, special. Yeah. Like he said after the game 6. Humbly, I'm one of the best players in the world, and he is. He's one of the best players in the world. But I can't wait for this series. I guess let's just put it down. I just can't wait to watch this. This is because it's gonna be a battle. Because that whole Miami culture is just so different, man. It's just different, bro. Like
Pat Riley know what he's doing, dog.
Yes, him and Spo just like it's just different.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Like I don't think people understand. Like it's just different. It's crazy to watch them do what they do. Last one. Jalen Brunson or Devin Booker.
I know we talked about this yesterday. I'm gonna go D Book. But I gotta give. But me going with D Book, I have to give a lot of love to Jalen Brunson, the epitome of a point guard that one beat the odds for sure. Very underrated, very undervalued. He was New York's best player. and we're gonna talk about the Knicks losers on the next episode. He was their best player. To watch him operate, and I'm probably just saying this because I watched him live too. This first time I watched him in person. The way he operates, the way that he plays with such control, you sense the Villanova veteran poise. Just and like watching him do like even in Game 7 against Miami. I mean, excuse me, Game 6 against Miami. Like the if he didn't drop that 41, like they getting beat.
A game is a blowout.
30. You know what I'm saying? They getting beat by 30, and they didn't have anybody else like come to the party with them. You know what I mean? So like Jalen Brunson, man, I got mad respect for him. Dallas definitely misses him, sure. Mad respect for Brunson. I love his game. I love everything about him. But what I watched Devin Booker do, D Book, man, D Book looked like God rest his soul. I felt like I was watching a little bit of Kobe a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Like I ain't saying he Kobe Bryant, but I'm saying like some of the stuff he was doing, it felt Kobe-esque Bryant to me. And I think D Book got that type of upside. I think D Book can really tap into that Mamba mentality level. And now just, obviously like just continue to see him grow and elevate himself, elevate his team. But there was moments, man. I'm gonna tell you, and this is why I'm picking D Book. There was moments, man, in that series against Denver when he even had KD like, bro, D Book. I'm gonna send over here. And I'm gonna let you do your. Hey, I'm a fan. Like he had KD over there, like, yo, bro, this is your world. You know what I'm saying? D Book, man, D Book is just special, dog. D Book is just gifted. Love his game,
Damn,
man.
I was gonna say Brunson until you broke it down. I gotta say D Book. Then you're right, bro. Like, and he was mad efficient too. That's the most impressive part. He was mad efficient. Only reason I was gonna say Brunson is because he had no help, bro.
None.
None. Like Randall may have had 2 solid games the whole playoffs. Granted, he did hurt his ankle, but he may have had 2 solid games, and RJ Barrett didn't give them shit, except for maybe a few games himself, maybe 1 or 2 solid games. So he was pretty much like out there by himself.
Though. But RJ had a good stretch though. I think like after the first 2 games against the Cavs, he had a good stretch. He had a good stretch against us, and he had a couple decent games against New York. But but I see what you know. But Brunson though, like Brunson was the best thing that happened. Like New York definitely won, and they got him for cheap at that. But I tell you what, when his contract is up, the next bag, pay that man. And I'm gonna say this one thing: New York. We're gonna talk about New York in the next episode too. New York's gonna be tough because I really feel like Jalen Brunson's the guy that people want to go play for. It's some guys. If I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo, I might want to go play with Jalen Brunson.
I'll go play with Jalen Brunson.
I'm gonna go play with Jalen Brunson. If I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm gonna go play with Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson's that type of point guard. Like I think he has that type of dynamic vibe to him. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, D Book, man, bro, middies, 3 balls, getting to the
that shit was crazy, bro. Shit he was doing was crazy.
Played the point. It was diamond. Yeah,
D Book.
He looks cold, but hey, that. By far that was the toughest pick or pop though, easily. That was the toughest one, because you can't go wrong either way. But I gotta go D Book, man. I gotta go, like light skin Drake, man. Light skin Drake for sure.
Well,
that was a good episode, man. Dang, we was about to talk about we didn't even get to winners yet, man. We ain't even got to. We still got to talk about.
We'd have been on here for 4 hours talking.
Man, we got to talk about Atlanta. We got to talk about New York. We got to talk about Brooklyn,
Philly.
And we covered the West. The West is pretty much covered. Yeah, the West is covered. So we got those 4 teams to talk about. Then we're going to talk about the 4 winners. So y'all stay tuned on that episode. Probably do the episode tomorrow. We'll do the episode tomorrow. Why not? We got time because I think the Western Conference Finals starts on
Start Tuesday.
Let's do that. So we're gonna come back tomorrow. Impromptu. We're gonna do another episode tomorrow, talking about the other four losers and talking about the final four of the NBA playoffs, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, and we'll get into some other topics as well. Who's been the best player in the playoffs, so on and so forth. But great episode, man. Great episode. Kind of like a little off-season, impromptu off-season segue for those teams that lost in the playoffs. Looking forward to watching to see the moves that's going to be made. I think it's going to be a lot of great moves. But I think the CBA. I'm gonna say this before we head off and shut down. I think the new CBA is going to shake some things up too. The new CBA really changed. Like the team like Milwaukee not having the ability to use their mid-level exception. Like that's going to hurt. That's going to be. They got to be really creative in how they're going to be able to get players. You know what I'm saying? So the new CBA really kind of made things a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging, especially for the higher end competitive teams with the higher payrolls and budgets and stuff like that. Like it's gonna make it very interesting to see how these teams kind of operate. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was a great episode, man. We appreciate everybody tapping in. Always good to do, be on the pod with my dog, my brother, and we had a time this past, yesterday. Had a great time, of course. And y'all be on the lookout, man. Step Brothers B-Day weekend, May 27th, May 28th, man. We are outside. It is our birthdays. My brother, your birthday is the 28th. My birthday is on the 30th. So yeah, we're gonna celebrate, man. We're gonna have a great time. So y'all be on the lookout. We're gonna talk about that on the next episode as well, man. We're gonna do, and we are gonna. We say this. I'm saying this. We are gonna do a birthday pod. We are going to do a birthday pod for sure. So I'll be wearing glasses.
I will be too.
Yeah. So we both will be wearing sunglasses. So just FYI. But man, that great episode, man. We will appreciate everybody tuning in, tapping in, of course. So y'all be on the lookout tomorrow. We will be back to close out the playoff segment, playoff series. Man. So hey, happy Mother's Day again to all the beautiful mothers, Mom. Happy Mother's Day, Grandma. I love you as well. Sean, I love your mother. I haven't even met her, but happy Mother's Day to her as well. And to all the moms out there, man, we appreciate y'all. And for those moms that aren't with us today, we want to send y'all love too. Praying for those that don't have their mothers with them on a special day. But yeah, man, you know how we shut down, you know how we close it out.
Hey, man. What you get your mama?
I got my mom my presents. And I cooked for my mom. But her gift is coming in tomorrow. So you don't know that, but her gift coming in.
All right, man. Stay prayed up, stay out the way, man. I ain't trying to
And we out, man. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.